Welcome to my channel for a Whippet Chat. I know I haven't had one in a long time because my life is normally boring because of the virus. I don't go out. I don't do nothing. I order my food in. That whole bit. But I finally got all my vaccines. Yay! It only took me 2 months of going on the computer every day trying to get an appointment. Now they got it across the street as a walk-in. The minute I knew I could qualify it, I tried getting on it. Okay, first let me explain to you. I live in a house. It has a total of 25 bedrooms, a kitchen, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 bathrooms. And I keep telling my landlord, because he rents all the rooms out, quit fooling with these homeless organizations. They're sending the lowlifes and the drug addicts and the extremely mentally ill. I just got finished talking to a tenant. We found a pair of keys out here in Bridget's bed. Didn't know who they belonged to. But my question is, why were they up on our patio? This is a private patio. It's not for the other tenants. Me and my boyfriend was the first ones to move in here about 5-6 years ago. And he's remodeled this place 3 or 4 times, and I'm sure he'll do it again. He's remodel happy. But in any case, we had 2 things happen. We had this tenant, and he moved out, turned in his key, got his deposit, and I did tell him, you got to put a change of mail because you cannot receive mail here once you move out, and once you move out you are not allowed back on the property. It is that simple. And apparently you don't go checking your mail at 10, 11 o'clock at night, but he did. The manager saw him and I guess told him. I don't know how it occurred. I didn't see the beginning, because the tenants come to us if there's a problem because the so-called manager is not much of a manager. He won't do anything. He's kind of a coward. He don't know how to talk to people. He yells at them. But they got into a fist fight, and when I came on the scene, because it was right outside the gate, I yelled at him, the former tenant, to let him go. He wouldn't, so I went to pull him off. Another tenant came to help me, put him in a headlock, and we got him off of it. The police were called, and we had to pin him down, waiting for the police to come. But the guy who helped me get him off, he kind of abandoned me, and I'm there by myself to try to keep this man, individual, pinned down. So I sat on him. That's right, I sat on his butt, and I told him, I'll let you up, but you got to calm down. Which case he told me he wasn't, and then I said, well, I can't calm you down, and you're probably going to go, your black ass is probably going to go to jail. Well, he really tried struggling then, but there was no point. We did have to put him in a headlock one more time. So the police get there, and they first tell me, don't get off of him. And when they got close, and they got their handcuffs on, I said, you want me to get off of him now? And I said, yeah. And They put handcuffs on him, talked to everybody. Now the thing was, I know there's been some police brutality against blacks. I also know it's a witch hunt, to where cops are really afraid to arrest anybody, even if they do something wrong, even if they break the law. I mean, he was literally trying to kill our manager. Had him on the ground and taking his head and bashing it against cement. Had we not stopped it, he would have killed him. And they were going to let his butt go. Instead, he goes across the street, starts making threats, saying, "I'm going to kill you, Linda." And I says, "Oh, go talk your crap to somebody else. You ain't going to do a darn thing to me. Remember, I do have a knife in my room." And I says, "I will use it." Well, the cops went over there. I turned around to get a cigarette. And I turned around, he was giving them crap. And next thing I know, they're trying to wrestle him into the police car. They end up having to put a straitjacket on him. And he's yelling, "I'm hurt, I'm hurt." Those cops didn't do anything. They were being calm, they were talking to him calm. He says, "I'm going to sue." I told the cops, I says, "Don't worry about it, he's sue happy. He sues everybody." Okay. A couple of days passed. They called an ambulance. They took him in with straitjacket and all. I don't think they took him to jail because, what was it, 2 days later he called about mail. And I texted him and I says, "You knew there was only 30, you had to put in a notice, and we only hold mail for 30 days. But since you decided to attack our manager and you tried to kill him, you cannot, that is void. Any mail that you got, like I did today, will be returned to the post office." He says, "That's illegal, that's unconstitutional. You're fooling with mail." I says, "I'm not fooling with the mail. I didn't open it." I says, "I simply gave it back to the post office, telling them that you didn't live here anymore and this was undeliverable. Any mail there." He says, "Well, I'm going to sue you." I says, "You go right ahead." And I didn't text the manager. I says, "Well, I tell you what, there were 6, 7 people that witnessed it. I was the only one brave enough to go out there and stop another tenant at the door, and he was just watching. I did have help from one other tenant, but he kind of abandoned me after he got him off. Now you think that would be it, right? Our manager goes nuts. He's cleaning the kitchen, he's cleaning the hallways, he's cleaning the bathrooms. A tenant had to go to the bathroom. He goes into the bathroom, and then, you know, sorry, but if he's got to go, he's got to go, and you have to wait till he's finished to get in there to clean. Instead, he bangs on the door. Bangs on it. Threatens the tenant. This tenant has been here for 4 years. He's never been violent. Nothing. And I says, "Well, I'm going to report this to Eric, who is the main manager, not that on site." So I called, and he pulled a knife on him. This is what happened. He pulled the knife on the tenant that was completely uncalled for. Another tenant came out and stopped him from cutting the tenant by grabbing his hand with the knife. And I told the manager, I says, "I'm reporting this." And I told the other resident, I says, "You know, just come down, this is going to be reported." So I called Eric and I says, "Eric, The person who lives here is supposed to do all the cleaning. Has attacked a resident, tried to cut him with a knife. And Eric tried to call the manager. He wouldn't answer his phone, but I guess he must have got hold of him, because the next thing you know, the manager's going up apologizing to the tenant. Meanwhile, we got a crazed, mentally ill, supposedly manager who's met as a baddie. When the tenants have a problem, they don't go to him. They come to us. And I told Eric, I said, they don't go to him. He doesn't deal with it. I said, what happened is they come to our door, boyfriend cowers down, and I gotta go deal with it. I mean, here we gotta go break up a fight and stop this guy from killing our manager. Boyfriend hides in the room. Wouldn't even call the police. Yeah, I kind of lost a lot of respect there. So it's been kind of crazy. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself for those, because I knew I'm subscribers who don't know. I won't go into that. I was born in Granite City, Illinois. Stinkiest town there ever was because of all the factors. I mean, it smells. I wasn't thriving as an infant. Could keep food down to the point they put me in the hospital. And what they told my mother, they says, look, most people develop sinus problems after birth. The case of your daughter, she was born with it. And the reason why food won't stay down is because it's clogging up, it's draining into her stomach, which sours anything she eats, and it comes up. I had surgery done when I was 9 months old. It was at the same time. They removed something up my nose and told my parents that as long as we lived in that town, I would have to have this same surgery over and over again. So I don't know if they grow back or what. But my mother was raised and born in Chula Vista. So she says, hey, how about Chula Vista? They said fine, so my parents moved back here. Now, my bio father, if you want to call him that, I just call him the sperm donor, was going to school, college, trying to support a family, and he was actually a cop in San Diego. But in any case, he started having an affair with a tutor. Was seen by my aunt, who of course told my mom, and they split up. Instead of staying in San Diego where you could have seen us, he chose to leave, because in those days, if you were caught, you could be divorced. If you got divorced, you lost your job. They told him to get his marriage straightened out, but my mother wouldn't take him back, so he lost his job as a cop. He returned to Granite City, Illinois. There was 3 of us. Me and my brother would spend alternating summers with him. So when we went to visit, we stayed the whole summer. Grade school was really, really rough for me because I got teased enough. I was a ugly kid. I mean, names like Moose, just a whole lot. Don't get me wrong, I had my defenders too, and I was real mild, and I generally would not fight back. Well, I mean, one day I had 23 girls decide they were going to gang up on me for no reason at all, and pushed and shoved me all the way to a block of my house. My mother never knew about it. I never went to my mother, because when I went to my mother over something very serious that I will not get into in this channel, I was just told to shut up. And I knew, even at 5, 6 years old, that I could not count on my mother, that I was on my own. So I never did. When I was 8, I told my mother I didn't love her. Well, first I asked if I could go live with my dad, and she said no. I says, well, you can't stop me. At the age of 13, I can decide who I live with, and that's who I'm going to go live with. And I says, you guys can't say anything once I turn 18. And I says, when I turn 18, I'm gone. Well, I went to live with my father on 2 different occasions, but he was married to a woman who was extremely jealous. She was more jealous off of me, which is ridiculous. Our family played favorites. My mother, the only one she cares about growing up was my younger brother, Brian, and Tim. More so Tim. Wouldn't get me a horse, but they would spend thousands and thousands of dollars on his motorcycle riding. But growing up, I was not jealous of my brother. It wasn't about that. But so I'm not real close to my mother. I have been in San Diego now for Are you doing video? Yeah. No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Doesn't Bob have your text phone number?
I think so.
Yeah, he'll text you.
I was just in the area.
Okay, sorry about that, folks. So, up to, well, 11, 12 years now, I only got one phone call from my mother, and that was when my sister was sick of ALS, in a wheelchair. He wanted a trip, the family, mom and the kids, and, immediate family, a reunion in Hawaii. Now, I told my mother, I haven't got the money for that. My sister paid away. She knew I only had $150 on me. We'll take care of your food, the whole bit. Well, they were doing, she had a timeshare, and so we had a suite, had a kitchen. It was like an apartment. And they were boiling hot dogs. Well, they decided we wanted to go do something, and we did, which was hard, was scuba diving, and I just didn't feel comfortable doing it, because my sister should have been born a dolphin. She lived and breathed diving, and of course she couldn't dive anymore. So here, and people came by with the tanks and stuff. That's when she lost it and started crying. Well, afterwards we go to Sizzlers. I go to order a freaking salad. My mother throws a fit. And I thought, well, she hasn't changed. Still make me feel guilty if I eat. So I just left. Well, Patrick, my sister said, come out. Says, Linda, Susan bought you dinner. I says, I don't want it. They buy it, I'm out of here. I went to McDonald's. Then when I got back to the hotel, I beat them. I got on the phone to try to get a plane ticket out of there. Was found out I couldn't. So I was like stuck there. My sister wanted me there, but my mom wanted me there to take care of her. And I'll tell you the story about that, because she was a patient from hell. Anyways, the second time I went back to live with my mother, I flew back at the age of 18 to my mother's house. I got registered for the school to be a butt wiper, formerly known as a CNA. Something I fully regret doing, because all those years of taking care of dying people and all that, I only got $479 for retirement. 30 years of working. That's all I get. And I said, unbelievable. Totally unbelievable. And my mother drove me to my grandmother's house and dumped me on my grandmother. Well, that was okay, because when Grandma tried to get me to go home to visit Mom, I threw a fit. But she decided to move up to San Jose, and not even a goodbye. She just went. Never called, come see me, never called to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Nah, she just left. The only contact we had is because I really initiated it. I'm the one that calls her. But I stopped. Now, it isn't about the money. It really isn't. But she gets a life insurance policy, and she puts it in my brother's name as beneficiary. Didn't put Brian's name or mine, just Tim's. She has a house, and I told her, I says, I'm not stupid. I know you'll leave the house to Tim. And Tim is so self-centered, because the way he was brought up, spoiled, rotten, that when the time comes, he wouldn't say, hey, you know, that wasn't right. I'm gonna sell the house and I'll split the money. No, he won't. And I really don't talk to my brother anymore over Jojo and African Gray. That is a story for another time. I mean, I didn't talk to my brother for what, 3 years? My brother was the only person I trusted in the family. And as far as I'm concerned, that broke the trust. So I'm not real good at trusting people. I'll trust a stranger if I trust my family. And I've moved around a lot. I've lived in Manteca, San Jose, San Diego, Chula Vista, Minot, Nevada, Gabbs, Nevada. I lived in Gabbs, Nevada for 9 years. Till I couldn't take my husband at the time anymore, and I couldn't take that hick town. And he went to work, and I says, have a nice day at work, hon. He left. I packed up the stuff, put it in the truck, and I was gone. Of course, I wasn't even out of town before he found out. Because somebody says, we just seen your wife going down the street with the truck all loaded up. You better get home. He came home to a Dear John letter. When he called me, I told him I wanted a divorce. I've been asking one for 2 years. You promised only a certain length of time in Gabbs, then you said you're not. We were married 9 years, technically, but in reality, only about 5. I spent I didn't leave him for a long time, because I had horses and I knew I couldn't afford them on my own. But it came a time I couldn't even do that. So then I came back to Antioch, California. I stayed with my mother for about 2 weeks. I went into private duty. Where I would live in a person's house, took care of their mother, their father, whatever, 24/7. I would charge room and board and $1,000 a month. If it was 2, it was room and board, $2,000 a month. I did light housekeeping. I would only cook for the patient. I did the patient's laundry only, not the whole family's. And I didn't clean out the refrigerator, and I don't clean out the stove. I did that for a few years. Then when I went to get back to work in facilities, found out I had been out of California so long that I had to take the stupid course all over again. So that's what I did. Got paid while I worked, but I'll get with you guys about, I don't really talk about that because I can't talk good about nursing homes. I stay away from the subject of nursing homes. I view them as a prison because there ain't much difference in them. And I just stay out because I know people are putting them in there, and I just don't want to offend. And I'm very vocal. I'm very up for it. I say exactly what I mean. I don't pull punches, and sometimes I need to learn just to bite my tongue. Totally bite my tongue. So I'm very, you know, I was homeless for a while. The stories, for the new ones, you have to see that in below. I mean, I was homeless for 5 years. And this time my mother is, she didn't care that I was homeless. She would have never said, well, why don't you come up here, stay with me till you find a new job, get on your feet. No. But just recently, I don't know what made her get the idea that I was homeless. I just, well, if you're homeless, you can come live, stay with me. And I thought, yeah, right, you got rheumatoid arthritis, and you just want me to come up and help. I says, really, Mom? You didn't say that when I was homeless, right? So, no, I'm not homeless. And I told Tim, I said, well, I'm not going up there to take care of her. She can't take care of herself, she can go to a nursing home. She can sell the house, because they will. The thing about a patient going into a nursing home, if they have any property, they force them to sell it. That money used for their care in a nursing home, and then they'll pick up when that runs out. So yeah, patients in nursing homes have lost their homes, any property they've owned. State basically takes it. And, you know, I'm just very, very forward. I can't be fooled. You know, I'm very, very forward. I ain't gonna say her name, but there's a woman, a creator. That's all her channel is anymore, begging people to give her money. But you don't really see her in lives anymore. She don't like me too well because I called her on it. But that's who I am. Anyways, that's gonna be all.